I'm setting the amperage here to 100 amps. I'm going to use a number 6 cup and a 332 electrode. This kit goes all the way up to 532, down to 332, and cup sizes go all the way up to 12. So it's great for walking the cup. I chose a number 6 for the root pass because that fits inside that bevel without the edges of the cup hanging up on the edges of the bevel. I'm using 1/8 70S6 filler wire. I highly recommend the 70S6 for a root pass when you have a choice. Sometimes the procedure calls for S2 or another filler wire. Got to follow the procedure. It's called scratch start because that's how you start the arc, but I'm going to flick the rod on the tungsten and get the arc started. It just kind of helps your tip stay sharp. Now the root pass on the freehand part here is just a straight up and down, straight forward and back motion. Trying to really focus the tip of that tungsten on the tip of that filler wire and use whatever arc force there is to push it through to the back side. So no side to side motion, strictly up and down, helps make it stick through a little bit better, helps penetrate and give it a little bit of reinforcement on the back side. If you go too far side to side, it's just a really flat root with hardly any reinforcement, maybe even sucked back a little bit, and you don't want that. You like to have just a little bit of reinforcement. Where that comes into play on a test like this is a lot of times these are tested with bend testing, and you need a little bit there to grind off and clean up to nice clean metal for the root bend. All right, I'm about finished here, and so I want to snap out. I don't want to snap straight out. I want to come up on the heavy part of the wall and kind of comet trail out. I didn't get an arc shot of that, but you can kind of picture it. And the back side shows me that's going in pretty good, pretty uniform, sticking through pretty good. So far so good, but now let's walk the cup. Same arc start method there, the flick of the rod. What you're doing is you're just kind of completing the circuit from the base metal to the edge of the tungsten, and that kind of gives the arc a path to establish. So right here I'm just barely wiggling. So it's almost the same thing as far as not much side to side motion, but it's kind of hard to go forward and back when you're wiggling or walking the cup. So I'm just really limiting the amount that I do move it side to side. Still keeping a good tight arc, still keeping a little pressure on that rod in case it wants to take some. You don't want the rod to come out of the puddle, to melt loose from the puddle. And if you're too hot or if you lose concentration, that can happen. Just get it right back in there as quickly as you can if it does happen. But it's just a little bit of a wiggle so that I don't go side to side much. That's all I can say. That's what seems to work here for me. There's lots of methods, lots of ways to put a root pass in. This is just one of many. There's dip keyhole, there's back feeding, all kind of different fit ups. This does require a really good fit up to use this method. But when you're in a test shop, you can get a perfect fit up. So there's no reason not to. Now you can see just a hint of something there on that tie-in. I didn't feather it with a grinder, but we're going to take a closer look at it at the end. So I'm setting it up to 111 amps. I'm only going up 11 amps for the hot pass. I probably could have gone a little hotter, but why would I want to do that? The main objective, in my opinion anyway, on a hot pass is just don't disturb the good root you just put in there. So if it's a little slower, it takes a little longer, but you don't melt through, you don't suck back, you don't disturb or remelt or reconfigure the root. To me, that's the goal. Of course, you don't want to leave any voids, but I don't see that I'm leaving any voids right here. I think I'm getting complete fusion between the hot pass and the root, and we'll see. We'll check it when we're done and see if we melted through any at all. We'll do the same thing here as far as, well, the first half with freehand. Just going kind of not really bouncing from side to side, but not spending a lot of time across the middle. Keep it moving. And then on the second half, we'll walk or wiggle the cup. So on the root pass, it didn't really get that hot on the plate, but now it's getting really toasty. And you can see I've got one of my TIG fingers on there. So my knuckle can hang in there all day. And on freehand TIG, that just lets you focus on the weld rather than how bad your knuckles are screaming. I'm just holding the torch upside down like this because I've got a rigid head torch here. And it's a plate, so I either have to turn it sideways or just turn it upside down like this, and this just seems more comfortable to me. You can probably sense here that I'm not gripping the torch like a gorilla. I just got it gripped tight enough that it won't slip around. All right, this is the walk in the cup side here, just back and forth, back and forth. Again, not spending a whole lot of time across the middle, not really flying, pausing for probably, I don't know, not even half a second on each toe of the weld. But just keep moving, keep progressing, don't hang around in one spot. And with that lay wire, with the 1/8 wire, you shouldn't melt through, especially with it only 11 amps hotter than the root was welded. I'm pretty sure I could have bumped it up to 120, maybe 125 for the hot pass, lean the torch back, a little bit longer electrode extension, but I'm a little rusty on walking the cup. I don't do this all the time anymore. It's been a long time since I did it every day for a living. I'm getting more and more comfortable with it. Every minute of this weld here is starting to feel fairly natural to me. It's just been a lot of years since I did it every day. I think 111 amps was a pretty good choice here. A lot of times the hot pass will actually push the root through a little bit from the shrinkage of the metal. It gets red hot on the back side, and then metal does shrink as it cools. So there's your front side there. We don't really care what that looks like so much as long as it doesn't look horrible. We're going to weld back over it anyway. And there's the root. That little area on that tie-in is hardly noticeable. It's just a little bit of a low place, and it's all tied in.